Assalamu alaikum. You want to just unmute yourself?
Assalamu alaikum.
Yes. Wa alaikum salam. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Okay, we're in now.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay.
Technology. So welcome everyone to the Hajj Q&A live. And without further ado, I'm just going to hand you over to Mufti Abdur-Rahman Mangera. And Sheikh, how are you? How's your preparation?
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. How are you guys all? I hope you're well, Shiba, as well.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah,
Just
I think
no?
I think we should probably clarify that this is about religious questions and not about admin questions, right?
Absolutely. So if
Yeah.
anybody's got any logistics or admin related, please contact your group leaders for that. This is strictly religious and the fiqh of Hajj and Umrah, inshallah. So over to you, Shaykh.
Okay. So yeah, if anybody wants to pick up the mic and ask questions, they can do that. Otherwise, I am going to take, can you recommend an alternative to deep heat? I'm sorry, I don't have any suggestions for that. Maybe just find something that is for muscle, ask a doctor for something that's muscle, for that, yeah, that doesn't have too much of a smell, if there is such a thing. That doesn't have too much added scent. Deep heat would be an issue because I think there's a lot of scent in there. But there must be something else that could be used. I just don't know of anything. How do we perform the first istilam, istiqbal, and thereafter the remaining istilams, including the one safa? The first one, there's a istiqbal you do first, and then you do istilam. So istiqbal is you just raise your hands and you say Bismillah Allahu Akbar, and then you let them go. That's just right at the beginning. And then after that, you do istilam. So istiqbal is what you do first. You just raise your hands and then you let them go. That's just like you've, and then istilam is when you basically, if you can't kiss it, which we won't be able to, then you just essentially just point towards it, both hands or one hand, and then kiss your finger, kiss your hand, and carry on. So when you're going around, you're probably not going to have an opportunity to stand there directly in front and gesture towards it. You only do istilam afterwards in each round. So what we do is, as we're walking, with our left hand side towards there, and you're in the crowd, we just say Bismillah Allahu Akbar. We just like look towards that, Bismillah Allahu Akbar, and then just carry on. So it can be while you're moving, as long as your chest is, carrying on. You don't have to turn in that direction. For Hajj Qiran, do we perform Tawaf Qudum after Umrah? Is it okay to not perform Tawaf Qudum if there is no time? I mean, you could miss it, meaning not you could miss it, but if you missed it, then you won't have to pay a penalty because it's only sunnah to do that. But you should do it, right, as far as possible. Is the penalty for any contraventions double the normal amount in Hajj Qiran? Yes, that's correct, because your Qarin is somebody in both Ihrams at once. So if any penalty happens, nail cutting, hair cutting, etc., then it's like he is violating two Ihrams. If someone has a miscarriage, is that classed as haze? It depends on when they have the miscarriage. If they have it before 7-8 weeks before the limbs are formed, then any bleeding after that could be your menstruation. And if it's after that, then it's usually nifas. Are we required to maintain wudu for tawaf during umrah? What about outside umrah? Wudu is necessary for tawaf. For every tawaf, any tawaf. You can't do a tawaf without wudu. So if you did break your tawaf, you'd have to go back, go somewhere and do wudu. There are places in the masjid that you could do wudu. You go outside and you come back in and you just carry on from where you left. However, they say that if you've done less than 4, then it's better to restart the whole tawaf again. If you've done more than 4, then you can just carry on. But again, if you just carried on, it'd be okay as well. After doing wudu. How long after Fajr are we allowed to pray Salat, and how does this affect us if we perform Umrah after Fajr in relation to the 2 rakats? The 2 rakats in Fajr time, it's makruh to perform any other prayer, any other Sunnah Nafil prayer, or Wajib prayer, except the Fajr Sunnah. Okay? So the Fajr Sunnah you can of course perform, and then you can perform your fard for Fajr, and you can also do qada prayers, but you can't do the 2 rakats of Tawaf prayer until after sunrise. Is there a drop of, so basically, yeah, you'd have to wait until sunrise, 15-20 minutes after sunrise, then you'd have to do your 2 rakats. But you can do it later on in the day, so you don't have to like wait up for it. You could actually just go to sleep and wake up and then do it afterwards. You can even do it in your room if you want to. If there's a drop of fruit extract in wet wipes, can it be used? The remaining ingredients 9%. I mean, can you tell me what fruit it is? Can you touch the Kaaba in Ihram due to the perfume? You've already answered the question. Like, why do you want to touch the Kaaba anyway, except in the place where it's the multazam? You should avoid going and touching the cloth of the Kaaba in different places because there's no sunnah in doing that. I know people like to do it. They think they're doing something wonderful. There's nothing like that unless you're going there for a very particular purpose. The sunnah place is the multazam and the black stone. Now, the multazam and the black stone, I don't think there's going to be any perfume left there unless you're the first person after a prayer where they've just washed it, cleaned it, sterilized it, and put perfume on it. Okay? So that I could probably risk, maybe in an ihram, but I wouldn't risk touching the cloth anywhere else, or touching the cloth, because the cloth might still have perfume on it. Whereas the place between the policeman and or the black stone rather, and the door of the Kaaba, that's the place, the multazam. So many people go there and they wipe everything off essentially. So unless you're the first person, you're probably not going to get any perfume. Likewise, on the black stone, I've never smelled perfume on the black stone, right? Because so many people had been there already that, you know, it's got people's sweat and all sorts of things on there, right? So I don't think that's usually an issue. But avoid touching the black, the cloth of the Kaaba for sure, if you can help it. We will have 2 salats to read on the plane. Is it okay to read one seated if there is no space available on the plane? Yes, if there is no space and they won't let you pray, etc., then yes, you can pray seated and then you have to just repeat it when you get off. Okay. For Hajj Tamattu, if the menstruating woman cannot do Umrah in the beginning because of a cycle, what does she make the intention for Ihram before going to Mina? So listen, glad you've asked this, and let anybody who's in this situation know. If you are, if you don't know whether you're going to be able to perform a tamattu, which means perform an umrah before your hajj or not, then don't make an intention for umrah when you go there. Otherwise, it gets more complicated. Rather than that, if you're not 100% sure, what you do instead is when you go from here, you will just intend a general intention for ihram. I am just entering into an ihram. You're not going to say hajj or umrah. You're going to keep that vague. You're going to keep that general. When you go there, and then if you are able to go and do the tawaf before you think and you should be able to get it in, then say, okay, I'm doing umrah now, and you transfer your intention, and then you just go and do umrah quickly, meaning the tawaf. Once you've done the tawaf, and then if you come on afterwards, it's fine. You can still do the sa'i afterwards. Okay, make sure you understand that. If it's the other way around where you are on menstruation, you're not sure if you're going to finish or not, then you can do the same thing. And then if you do finish, you turn that ihram and you specify into an umrah one and do your umrah if you've got time. If not, then you just say it's hajj instead and not an umrah. So hopefully that's clear. If it's not, then ask me and I'll explain. Let me just get rid of some of these so I know that already done it. For Hajj Tamattu, yeah, I think we just did that. I know Nafal Tawaf is more rewarding than many Umrahs during Hajj days. Can I do Tawaf whenever I want? Is there any? No, Tawaf, there's no makruh time. You can carry on. I mean, probably the only makruh time is if people are praying and you're trying to do Tawaf then, meaning if it's prayer time and the Jamaat is on. Otherwise, you can literally keep going around the Kaaba 24 hours. It's not a problem, and just stop for prayer. No makruh times for that. You don't have to be Nafal Tawaf if you are doing outside Hajj. Even in Hajj days, you don't have to be in Tawaf. You don't have to be in Ihram. So let's put it this way. Nafil Tawaf, you can do any time with normal clothing on. Okay. However, for a Hajj, you have to do some tawafs in there. So that's just tawaf for Hajj. So if you're in Hajj, you do tawaf for that. If you're in Umrah, you do a tawaf for that. Once you're out of the Umrah waiting to start your Hajj Ihram, you can do as many nafil tawafs as you want. So tawaf is a separate idea in a sense to Hajj. Hajj incorporates a tawaf, but tawaf is not exclusive to Hajj or Umrah, if you know what I mean. For Muzdalifah, stone collecting before I do the Jamarat. If I have extra stones, am I okay to help and distribute to those in need? Like the elderly or does, you think they're not going to have their own? I mean, to simply answer the question, if you have extra stones, fine, you can give them out to people. It's not a problem, right? I mean, I don't understand why people are getting so worked up about these small issues. Stone is a stone. A stone is a stone. So collect as many stones as you want. Give it to somebody if you want to. Keep them yourself. Throw them away. There's only one prohibition here. If there are any stones that are dropped near the Jamarat, meaning by the Jamarat which have been cast at the Jamarat and dropped there, you're not allowed to use those. They're rejected ones. However, what you will see, and don't bank on this, right? Don't rely on this. What you will see when you get to the Jamarat, especially on the last day and other days, there'll be lots of drop stones on the sides, like before you get there. These are people have lost their stones or they've discarded them. I mean, technically you could use those. I wouldn't though. So yeah, I mean, you can throw the stones away afterwards if you want to. It's not a problem. Okay. So don't get too worried about that kind of stuff in that. And yes, you can help somebody with it as well. Some scholars said that if you are doing tamattu, you can trim your head after Umrah because you're going to shave it anyway after Hajj. You can do that as long as you're getting an amount that goes around your finger, which is about one, what do you call it? 1 inch or something. However, as long as you've got that much, right? If you don't have that much, you'd have to shave it anyway as a man, right? For men, you'll have to do that. But I just shave it both times. I just want to get the full reward both times. You can do whatever you want, but I shave it both times. It takes the same amount of time and they do it very fast. My mom was asking if she can do, I don't know, if she can do shares, 1 of 7 for tamattu qurbani. Sorry, I don't know what you mean by that. If you can explain. Also, Ustad, if you have a list of Hajj du'as only, could you share it, please? As there's different versions of du'as that I have been shared. What do you mean by Hajj du'as? What do you mean by Hajj du'as? Like personal du'as for Hajj, or you'll have to clarify. You can pick up the microphone and ask me if you want to. Okay. Let me just write a note down to check something up. Okay, Allah bless you. And number 2, second person. I live in Saudi, I work in Tabuk, and my family, where's he gone? Where's he gone? Oh, I work in Tabuk and my family live in Jeddah. I spend more time in Tabuk and visit the family every week. Therefore, am I allowed to do Hajj Ifrad, or do I have to do Tamattu or Qiran? You can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. It's only people of Makkah who are not allowed to do Tamattu or Qiran. They have to do Ifrad, right? But you can do as much as you want. You can do whichever one you want. You live in Tabuk, man. You're just like an outsider. You're actually, no, you're within the hill area. No, Tabuk is beyond Medina Munawwara. No, you're just like us. You're like people from England. You can do whatever you want. You can do all 3. It's sunnah to go to Mina after sunrise on the 8th. So I'm assuming to do Tawaf Qudum straight after Fajr. Can it be done on the 7th before Fajr? You can do it anytime, but you'll have to start your Ihram for Hajj. Oh, I mean, if you're in Ifrad, if you're doing, so listen, because Tawaf al-Qudum has to be done within the Ihram of Hajj. So this applies only to Ifrad and Qiran. So in Ifrad, you can do your Hajj. You can in Ifrad, you're already going to be in Ihram then anyway. So you'll do your Tawaf first, Tawaf al-Qudum, right? You'll only do Tawaf al-Qudum. If you're in Qiran, then you're already also going to be in Ihram. So yeah, you can do it whenever you want. You don't have to do it on the 8th. You can do it anytime. So after you finish your Umrah, right, then you can do another Tawaf anytime you want for the Tawaf al-Qudum. Okay, anytime. Applying perfume before Ihram is permissible. However, what if the perfume rubs onto the Ihram clothing? No problem. That's not an issue. Should we be praying Quran in Hajj Mina or focus on du'as? You should do both. You can't do that many du'as. I mean, it's difficult. So you read Quran, you do tasbihat, and so on and so forth. Okay. Don't know if this is only a fiqh question. If we're flying Qatar Airlines via Doha, so do we need to don ihram on the plane, or will it be sufficient? You can do it in Doha. You can even do it after Doha, about half an hour, 45 minutes before you are going to get to Jeddah. They'll announce it, so you have to do it before then. So you can even delay until then. Practically speaking, it just depends on when you put it on. So I would say don't delay putting on the cloth, the ihram, if you're a man, right? From at least by Doha. I wouldn't put it from England for sure. I would just do it in Doha if you've got long enough connection. Otherwise, you'll have to do it in the flight, and then in the toilet or whatever. It's much more difficult unless you just do standing up and do it in the aisle, and then you take your trousers off underneath there, which is fine as well. So it just depends on how versatile you are with that. Again, I'm trying to answer these very quickly and to the point. So if there is anything that is confusing, just pick up the mic, and they do have an option to pick up the mic and ask, right? Rashid bhai? Okay, some fragrance. Yeah.
Yeah. If there's anyone who wants to ask a live question, we've got Muhammad there. Muhammad, assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, go on.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Ji Mufti Sahib, I have a question.
Okay,
so, you know, when the announcement is made regarding the Janazah Salah, like they might say Atfal or Tifl, do I make Janazah Salah for boy or girl?
If it says Tiflun, then that's a boy. Or Atfal is plural. You can just do you can do the what they call the plural instead of ha or hu, you'll say hum.
Okay. Because when I hear them say, I hear tifl, I can't hear the tiflun. But I don't know. If someone told me that you can just pray Allahumma fili hayyina for all of it.
Again, you can just do it for all of them. Don't get too obsessed by that. Again, you can do it for
okay.
They'll say tiflatun or tiflun, but yeah, you're right. Sometimes you won't hear it properly. Just do a collective dua of them. Just do a hum instead.
Inshallah. See you soon. Assalamu alaikum.
Inshallah. MashaAllah, you're already there. Okay. Some fragrance-free products such as water wipes, sanitizers still have a chemical sort of smell. That's fine. Nobody said that you can't have everything as a smell. Usually humans have a smell. Everything has a smell, right? It's just fragrance is not allowed. Smell is not a problem. So if it's got a medicated smell, as long as it's not made out of fragrance, like, you know, lots of eucalyptus or menthol or something like that, then it's fine. You can have a light smell of something else that is not considered a fragrance, and it's not for the purpose of fragrance. It's completely fine. Most things, most creams and other things will have some kind of weird smell. Okay. Regarding the wipes question, it's grapefruit seed extract. Again, that's not considered to be a fragrance. And again, I'm just wondering why they're adding that. Grapefruit seed. If it was grapefruit, maybe it was add a bit of a zest smell or citrusy smell. But if it's seed extract, it's probably for benefit, and it probably doesn't smell, then it's completely fine. If it doesn't have a fragrance. Are you allowed to wear short sleeve jubba when praying salat? Yes, you are. You can't roll up your sleeve, but you can. But be careful, because a lot of people don't understand that, so they'll condemn you for it. And you'll be there trying to explain all day long. Should we be praying Quran in? Oh, we did that one. If you touch the Kaaba while in Ihram, what must be done? Nothing. I mean, again, please try to understand the case. It's touching the Kaaba doesn't do anything, right? It's if there's perfume on there and you're in Ihram, then you may have to pay a dam. So you'll have to smell your hands to see if any perfume got on there. Otherwise, you touch the Kaaba, nothing goes on your hand, no problem. Right? Can you wear sunglasses in Ihram? Yes, but only, I think, Ray-Ban ones. Right? Not any other ones. So if you want to wear it, you better get Ray-Bans. I'm just joking. I mean, who cares about Ray-Ban? You can wear, I mean, putting glasses on is, you're not like, wearing means like wearing this kind of stuff through the body and limbs. This is just placing on your head. This is completely fine. You can wear glasses. You can even put contacts on if you need to. Sorry, I'm getting confused with this question. Where are we? Are we required to maintain wudu for tawaf during Umrah? I think I explained that. I think I explained that one as well. Sorry. Forgive me if applying perfume before Ihram is, however, yeah, I think I did that. Forgive me if answered. If I'm in Muzdalifah with 3 females, 1 pregnant, and they wish to leave after midnight to go to stoning due to being tired, health issues, or anything like that, could I, as their mahram, go with them? You can, but the stoning doesn't start early. The stoning starts later, right? So they could go to there is an allowance for certain women to go early, but I don't think the stoning starts until after Fajr. Until after Fajr, right? So I don't think that you'd be allowed to go with that. You'd be allowed to go and do that in the nighttime, right? Okay, next question.
We lost you, Mufti Saab. Hello?
Yes, assalamu alaikum. Sorry, looks like yeah. Okay, so forgive me. No, if a female is on her periods for the first few days upon arrival, does the husband have to wait to complete his Umrah, or can he complete? He can complete his Umrah and then just do another one with her afterwards if he wants to. He doesn't have to wait for her. He doesn't have to wait for her. In Hanafi school, Hajis have to do Udhiyah and Hadi. Nobody has to do Hadi. Hadi, remember, please, don't get this wrong. A Hadi is when you take an animal with you from home. I don't think anybody's going to be taking animals from home. Okay, you're going to do Damu Shukr. That's what you call it. So let's not get this wrong. The Prophet ﷺ drove a Hadi with him, right? Because he took it from Medina Munawwara. We're not taking Hadis. We're doing Damu Shukr. So that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to be doing Damu Shukr. Okay, that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to do Damu Shukr. Let me just put this on silent. Sorry. Hajj guides. Sorry, where was I? You're going to be doing Damu Shukr. So what was the question? Hajis have to do Udhiyah. You only have to do Udhiyah. You only have to do Udhiyah if you only have to do Udhiyah if you are not a Musafir. If you're if you're not a Musafir. So if you're a Musafir, then you're fine. Right? If you're a Musafir, then you don't have to do your normal Udhiyah, because for Musafirs it's not necessary. Okay. However, if you're not a Musafir, then you have to do that. Now you don't have to do it there, you can do it somewhere else as well. Just the Hajj Damu Shukr has to be done there. Okay.
So can't you just come on?
In Hanafi school, Hajis have to do Udhiyah and Hadi. Okay, I was just in that one. After Umrah, do you get a full haircut or wait until after Hajj to get it? I have already answered that question. And you can do both. You can do either way. I usually do both. I usually do shaving for both. The animal sacrifice we do in Hajj is called Damu Shukr. Not them, not DH, it's just DAM, right? damu shukr, and I think you're saying it the Persian way, dame shukr, which is fine, but it's not H, it's just dame shukr. Dam means blood, okay? What about our annual qurbani? Do we still need to do it? If you're a musafir, you don't. If you're not a musafir, you do it. What I usually do, even though I will be musafir, right? Because I don't believe that Medina Munawwara is, sorry, that Mina, all of that is the same as Makkah. I don't think they're both the same, okay? They're separate places. However, if you follow the other view, you might be muqim. I just send it somewhere else. I send it to India, right? And then I do my damush shukr there. I might have missed the point. Is hair or body hair falls off without us doing anything? Is there a sadaqah still required? Yes. If it's a few strands, 2, 3, then you just pay like they say a handful, which means 2, 3 pounds. If it's more than that, then it's about 4, 5 pounds or something like that. Are you going to do qiran or tamattu? I have no idea because I don't plan any of this stuff from before because I'm a guide. I have to go with everybody, so it depends on when we get there and so on. I have a half a mind to do qiran, let's put it that way, but otherwise I'll just do tamattu. But I have a half a mind for qiran if that's helpful. If your husband divorces you in Hajj, does it count? Yes, it does count, right? That's a big divorce. And brothers and sisters, be very careful, right? Be very, very careful because in Hajj, it's a very, very highly charged atmosphere. There's a lot of stress. And unfortunately, and shaitan is there, right? Shaitan is, unfortunately, it's not like Ramadan where shaitan is out of the picture. So shaitan is going to try to cause problems. It's a lot of stress because there's what you do, you know, are we coming together? Are we going? Where were you? Why did you come late? I said, let's meet here. Buy this, let's go shopping. You know, could be a lot. So there's a lot of issues, right? So be very careful when it comes to husband, wife, and other colleagues, you know, be very careful in the way you do these things because there have been divorces. But yes, and the divorce would count, right? So don't start practicing divorce down there just thinking it's not going to count if somebody's told you that, right? But yeah, just be very, very careful and try to minimize keeping a'udhu billahi minash shaitan rajim if you do get angry, right? Because a lot of couples have problems, unfortunately, because the shaitan just makes it worse. So it's a highly charged atmosphere. Just take it easy. I get cramps easily. What is the alternative? Ibuprofen and deep heat cream. I have no idea. Sorry, I wish I could tell you. But for cramps, I do know one thing is that usually you get cramps if you don't have enough salt and sugar and hydrolytes or whatever they call them. So I think I've been mountain climbing, etc., and I would get cramps. And then when I read about this, I made sure that I had, you know, the salt and sugar and other, you know, whatever you call them, electrolytes or whatever you call them, right? Those solutions. And mashallah, that you should help you. So maybe you're missing some salt in your, maybe you're missing some salt in your diet, all right? Or contact your doctor anyway, or go to a pharmacy and see what they have. And mashallah, in Saudi, there are you know, the local pharmacies there. They have a lot of you can say fragrance-free products as well, or check online. If you find anything, let us know as well, so I can suggest to others. If you're in Azizia first, then move to Makkah. The total days are 17 days, including Hajj days. I think I've answered that. There are 2 opinions about that. I consider Azizia, Mina, etc. to be separate to Makkah Mukarramah. So if you're staying in Makkah only for less than 15 days, then you are still a musafir. If you want to count Azizia and Makkah together based on the other view, be my guest. You can do that if you want to. Does the head shave halaq need to be with an actual manual razor blade, electric hair clipper 0? No, God, do you want to tell me the make as well? Like, come on. You can, I don't think you can do a halaq with hair clippers because it won't be small enough, because the smallest that a hair clipper does is like a size half, I think. So a halaq will be with a shaver. Halaq is always with a shaver. Otherwise, with a machine, it's usually going to be what they call a minimizing, taqleel, right? Where it's like half a number, right? So if you want the reward of that, it's going to have to be with a shaver, whether with a, you know, your own shaver or, but a machine, unless it's a shaver machine. You know, one of those foil shavers, they could probably do it if your hair is small enough already. Is it okay if we have washed our ihram with detergent before wearing it and entering the state of Ihram. Yes, but I would avoid using, what do you call that? I would avoid using fabric conditioners for that particular purpose, because they add a lot more extra smell, right? So you could get away with just a normal detergent smell would be fine, but when you add like lots of fabric conditioners and things like that, then it adds a fragrance. So you want to avoid that. Though if you did have that on in the beginning, inshallah, it won't mess up your ihram. But if you had changed into a new one after, while you're in ihram already with another one, that might be an issue. Okay. As a musafir, when performing Hajj, it is my understanding that there are no obligations to offer udhiyah. How many times are we going to have this question? However, as we will be offering hadi, are we still bound? You're not going to be offering hadi. I just clarified that. You're going to be offering a damush shukr. Okay. Hadi is when you take an animal with you, right? Are we still bound by the restrictions of not cutting the hair? I see. Okay. If there are restrictions, no, there isn't. Look, even in Qurbani purposes, right? I mean, this is the Hanafi madhab, by the way. Even in Qurbani purposes, if you're doing a Qurbani, it is mustahab, which means preferable for you not to cut your hair and nails and things like that. However, if you had to and it was getting too big, you can cut it. And even if you didn't have to, if you cut it, it'd be just a light dislike. So if you have to cut it, go ahead and cut it, but don't cut it purposely, for no reason. So that should clarify for you, inshallah, what we're looking at. Okay, inshallah. Ice cream, no, is cream for cracked heels that contain synthetic alcohol such as benzyl alcohol, but is fragrance free allowed? Yes, it is. Alcohol smell is not a problem. Okay. What is the sunnah? No, what is this? When is the sunnah to do tawaf az-ziyarah? The sunnah of tawaf az-ziyarah is the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam came from Muzdalifah. He went to the Jamara. He did his pelting, and then he went to his camp, and from there he then went to the place, the manhar, the place to sacrifice. He did his sacrifice, then he cut his hair and changed clothing. Then he went to Makkah. So he went to Makkah after that. According to my recent reading, he went to Makkah after that. That's what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did. If I make, otherwise you can do it anytime until the 12th anyway. If I make an intention for Qiran, but before the days of Hajj, can we change your mind doing a tamattu? No, you can't. You'd have to pay some big dums. Don't ever do that. If you're going to do Qiran, make sure you go through with it, because you can't break it afterwards. You can't turn a Qiran into a tamattu because you've already committed. Okay, you can turn a tamattu in a Qiran. So if you intended tamattu, so you intended Umrah, before you did anything, before you went for Tawaf for Umrah, you said, you know what, I want to do a Qiran. You can do that. However, you can't do a Qiran once you've done the Tawaf of Umrah. Then it's a Qiran whether you like it or not. However, you don't have to come out of Ihram after your Umrah of Tamattu to enter the Hajj. You can actually enter the Hajj Ihram directly from an Umrah Ihram of the Tamattu. But you can't do Qiran once you've done the Tawaf of Umrah, the Tawaf and Sa'i of Umrah. You can't turn into Qiran afterwards. So you can turn into a Qiran until before you start anything, after your intention is made. But Qiran, you can't turn into a Tamattu, because that means cancelling. You can't do that. Can you wear face whilst in Ihram? Yeah, I mean, you should have your face. I mean, I don't understand. You mean a face mask maybe? If you're talking about a face mask, I'll answer the question. Face masks, if they are more than a quarter or more of your face, and you wear it even intermittently for a full day or full night, you will have to pay a dam. Otherwise, it's going to be a sadaqah. So avoid face masks, essentially, for that reason.
Mufti Sahib, can we take a live question?
Yes, go ahead.
Brother Muhammad, Assalamu alaikum.
It was Muhammad Mushtaq first, is now Muhammad Saleh.
Muhammad Saleh.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Brother, I was going to ask you, I follow the Shafi fiqh, and the guy that's been assigned to me is predominantly Hanafi. Do I abandon the Shafi fiqh for Hajj?
I mean, no, I mean, look, just because you're with a Hanafi makes no difference. You
Okay.
do what you have to do. There's not that much of a difference. What is the difference anyway?
I don't know. I'm just asking, 'cause,
No. Listen, if you have any complications with that, just ask when we're there. But there should be no, there's not that much of a difference. There pretty much we do everything similar. There's
Okay.
a few things which are more stricter in the Shafi'i school than the Hanafi school, and there are a few things which are more lenient in the Shafi'i school than the Hanafi school. For example, for Shafi'is, it is wajib, right? And if you didn't do that, you'd have to pay them to stay at night in Mina. Hanafis, for them, it's a sunnah. We all stay there anyway, but if a Shafi was to miss that, they'd have to pay them, whereas the Hanafis wouldn't have to. On the Yawm al-Nahar, for Hanafis, it's obligatory to do their pelting first, then their sacrifice, then they can cut their hair. They can't mess up with that order. However, Shafi'is, if I remember correctly, they don't have necessary. But again, it's going to be no issue. So there's
Okay, Jazakallah khair.
So, and if you ever have a confusion, please ask and we'll get it checked out.
No problem. Jazakallah khair.
Barakallahu feek.
Assalamu alaikum.
Barakallahu feek. Allah bless you. How early do I need to go for prayers to get space in the mosque? Safest option, 50 minutes to an hour in Hajj time. Well, actually it depends on where in the masjid, all right? Where in the masjid, but I would say at least 42 minutes to an hour if you want to get it somewhere. And if you want to get into the main place, then that's definitely over an hour. If you want to get it into the extension or some other odd place where you have to walk for, you know, quite a few meters to get there, then still 40 to 50 minutes usually. Otherwise, sometimes you might be lucky. Sometimes you might be lucky at 30 minutes, but if you find that sometimes what they do is, I wouldn't risk it though. There's certain doors that they keep people blocked and they close it, and then for some reason they open it at the end. But you know, you really have to know and risk it to be able to do that, or somebody tells you. Otherwise, 50 minutes to an hour is a good idea. Salam. Is food snacks with flavorings okay, even if it has strong smell? I think pretty much most foods and snacks has flavoring. You know, every food is flavored. Every snack is flavored, right? So yeah, you're completely fine with that. Remember one simple rule: if it's cooked food, it doesn't matter even if it's got fragrance added in it, right? Like loads of rose or whatever, but it's been cooked, you can eat that all day long. The only time you have to be careful is where it's pure fragrance, like rose water, or what else is a pure fragrance, like saffron, has been placed in there afterwards raw. That might be an issue, but usually they don't do that. Food is usually cooked. Okay. If you have any doubts or specific, then let me know. Is Tawaf Qudum not necessary for Hajj Tamattu? It's not necessary. It's not even Sunnah. Okay, because your Umrah stands in place of that. When you've gone to do Umrah, you've done your arrival. Qudum means arrival. So when you've gone and done Umrah already, you've done more than an arrival, haven't you? Right? So don't feel bad about it. Do we pray Dhuhr and Asr together in Arafah? In the Hanafi madhab, it's only allowed to do that in the masjid under the imam, right? If you're in your tent, we pray it separately. For Shafis, they're allowed to do it together. Okay, so again, I've always done it separately. It's never been a problem. Okay, but if somebody did go to the masjid, for example, they could do it together, because the condition, it has to be done with the imam of the Hajj, and I don't think most of us are going to go there. If a woman can do everything before but is unable to do Tawaf Ziyarah due to menstruation, what needs to be done? She just has to do it. She has to wait to do it, right? That's just that question. I can't really answer it, because you're asking me a scenario. I don't know how long it's going to be, when it's going to be, and so on. So you just have to wait basically to do. So if you're going to Medina Munawwara, for example, you might have to come back from there to do it. You just have to eventually get it done. Otherwise, you stay half in Ihram essentially. So while you'll be out of all the other Ihram, you won't have done. Sorry, Tawaf Ziyarah. Yeah, you won't be able to have husband-wife relationship until you do it essentially. If anybody runs into trouble, then we can discuss that later, but otherwise you'll have to change your booking or something like that. Can we use sunscreen to prevent sunburn as I burn leaves? Absolutely, you can do that as long as it's not fragranced. Are you allowed to use a Vicks inhaler whilst in Ihram, as it has a strong smell? Yes, you can. You can. It's makruh to smell fragrance, but this is not really a fragrance. You're doing it for a ilaj. It's fine. But applying Vicks might be an issue. I need to check the Vicks again, because Vicks has a high content of something. So I have to check Vicks again, but the Vicks inhaler is fine. can I wear eye mask for sleeping in ihram? No, because you're wearing something and it depends on how big it is, then it's going to be a sadaqah otherwise. So no, you're not allowed to wear that in ihram time. Can I wear an eye mask for sleeping in ihram? Okay. Face mask in ihram, I think I've explained that one. Heathrow, is it fine to put the 2 sheets for ihram and pray the 2 rakats of nafil and then make intention for umrah in the plane? Yes, you can. It doesn't, you see the 2 sheets, it doesn't matter when you put those on, as long as you put it before you make the intention. And remember, for a lot of people, that was their clothing. So you can wear it 10 days in advance if you want to. No problem with that. The main thing is that when you're going to make your intention and say labbaik, you better have them on. Okay. So if that helps to explain it. When in ihram, any prohibition in regards to wearing a medical sensor? I have diabetes sensor in my left arm. Say a patch. You mean a patch? There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with having a diabetic patch, right? If a woman can't perform tamattu as she is on her period, will she do ihram from the point she enters miqat? Yes, you have to do ihram. I think I explained that already. She will do a general intention. She will do a general intention and not an ihram for umrah or hajj, because she doesn't know what she's going to do. So don't do an umrah, specific umrah or hajj intention. Just keep it general. I'm just entering into ihram. Then when you get there and you decide I can do umrah, then say, okay, I've made it into an umrah. And then you do your umrah and get out of it. Or you become pure and you make it umrah, right? Otherwise, if you stay on or you don't, you come on too early, then that's fine. Then just make it into a hajj ihram, right? Sorry, Mufti, had you mentioned that short sleeve jubba is permissible for salah? Just wanted to clarify, it's not makruh, disliked, as always under. This is the impression, but what the books actually say is that if you fold up your sleeves, that's what's makruh. Having short sleeves is not makruh. However, it's a common misunderstanding, and it's just too much to explain to everybody all the time. But yeah, you can wear it if you want to. And to be honest, I think a short sleeve in some cultures looks okay, like in Moroccan culture, they're fine with it, even the scholars wear it. But in other cultures, it's looked down upon. So in that sense, it's probably better to refrain. But you can put it on if you want. Can you put perfume and ihram clothing before? It's better not to on the clothing, although some scholars do allow it. But it's best to put it on your clothing. On your body instead. Muhammad Bagad is asking, is Rashid Bhai coming with us? In the state of ihram, can a man, Rashid Bhai, do you want to answer that? Inshallah, he is coming. But do you want to answer that?
Inshallah.
Okay, inshallah. Everybody make dua that he take all of us. In a state of ihram, can a man cover his feet with a blanket? Yes, he can. If a woman is due to finish the period on the 12th of Dhul Hijjah, for example, if she finishes the period and performs ghusl, then goes to make tawaf ziyarah, what happens if the nafil? No problem. She doesn't have to pay any dam or anything, even if she finishes on the 13th, as long as she's not had the opportunity to do it on time. If she had the opportunity to do it on time and she didn't, then for delaying. So let's just say she had an opportunity to do it first and she didn't, and then she came on, and then now because of that she has to delay it, which won't be your case. If you're finishing on the 12th, you probably didn't have the opportunity, right? Then there would be. Sorry, Sheikh, I meant leaving Muzdalifah to go to Mina. Am I, as a man, allowed to leave with them? I heard there are allowances for women to leave early as their mahram. I need to know if I can go with them. I'll have to check that up, right? I think you might be able to go with them, but you won't be able to do Rami. I have to check that up, because I know that the Prophet sent one of the men with the women folk, right? So I need to check that up. But you know what? They can go themselves in the bus. It's not a problem. Or you can send them with somebody else if you want to do that. But I'll find out and check later, inshallah. I'm just going to write it down so I can check this out. Will the salat for Dhuhr and Asr be combined? I think I've explained that. Assalamu alaikum. Will the salat, can we cut hair after Umrah in the first 10 days of Hajj, even if we're offering Damush Shukr? If you really have to, you can. In the Hanafi madhab, it's only makruh tanzihi, like dislike. Can Qurbani be done before pelting? We order Qurbani on Nusuk. We don't know when the Qurbani will be done. That's why don't order it on any facility that won't tell you exactly when it's going to be done, because it's a risk. You might have to pay a dam if it's not done, right? So I would suggest you go and order the qurbani from a source that we have, right, which will tell you exactly when it is done. While in the state of ihram, can you change into new piece of ihram towels which have been washed with soap powder and has slight fragrance? You should avoid that. If it's just a slight fragrance that are like very difficult to smell, then it might be okay. But otherwise, that second ihram, make sure that it doesn't have any fragrance. I know we can use money belts, but what about a little bag that has a handle that goes over the head and shoulders? You can use any bag you want, as long as you're not wearing like a cloth, like as long as it's not like a jacket. You can wear any bag you want. Backpack you can wear whatever you want, right? Is toothpaste allowed to be used in ihram? If it's fragrance-free, yes, but use a miswak instead. Who are valid recipients in the area for the sadaqatul fitr, for example, the workers? I would be careful with the workers, because mashallah, this is going to be a bit weird, but they get so much that they might be rich by the time you go to give it to them. So what I do is I go out and outside in Makkah, and then find like an obscure place and give it to them. Otherwise, people who are in crowded areas, they probably have enough money. God knows, unless they have a debt. I mean, you could ask them, are you mustahik, right? They might just say yes. But you'll see other people, when you're just traveling around, you'll just see other people you might sit next to in prayer from poor countries. Just strike up a conversation and give it there instead, right? Who are valid recipients? I think I did that. Can you wear sandals when performing tawaf and sa'i? It's a masjid, and usually we don't, unless you've got problems there. You will see some people do that, but it actually looks like very bad adab to do that. So what you can do maybe is go and find something very, very comfortable and thin, that follows the, that meets the criteria, and it's specially only used for the masjid. Maybe you can consider something like that. For cramps, diarrhea should help, or dissolving electrolyte tablets. Okay, Jazakallah. Dr. Rizvi, are you a doctor? Right? Can you wear sandals when performing? You did that one. I'm sorry, just to confirm, if a woman is on her cycle and ends around 8th or 9th of Dhul Hijjah, when would she do her intention? And this would be for Hajj Tamattu. Sorry, there's complete confusion there, right? I can't answer the question. Give me a call afterwards for this question. My number is on my Zamzam Academy website on the contact us, because there's a lot of missing details. I can't answer the question. When did she get there? When is she going to finish? And 8th or 9th of Dhul Hijjah. What do you mean when she's going to do her intention? I mean, she should have already been in intention. So it's like, is she in tamattu? What it's just difficult to understand. If let's put it this way, if she's already done her umrah and now she has to start a hajj, then she can do everything. She can do all the intention. I mean, a woman can do everything in hajj except the tawaf. So there's nothing stopping her from doing intention and going to Mina and Arafah and Muzdalifah and everything like that. She'll just have to wait for several days afterwards to finish, right? For cramps, yeah, I did that. Is it advised to not brush teeth? No, miswak is good. You just can't use fragrance. That's all. Are we allowed to wear blister plasters? Well, yes, you can. Because it's not wearing garment, right, in the shape of the body. The plasters are fine. In fact, even a wraparound bandage is fine. Like when you wrap it around, just be careful of the ones that are tubular, because there's a difference of opinion about that. I follow Shafi if wuzu is invalidated if there is skin-to-skin contact with women, including one's wife. I'm not a Shafi. I can't give you an exception, but most of the time you're not going to have skin-to-skin contact with somebody. I don't think I've ever had skin-to-skin contact. The worst is that you might touch somebody's clothing or body, in that sense, clothing, right? But you're not it's very difficult that you're going to touch somebody's hand or face, unless it's a really exceptional circumstance. So I don't know. Does anybody have any experience with that? I don't think. I mean, I've never come across that, even though I've gone right into the middle of the tawaf. When is the last point in time to cut hair and nails before Hajj? Whenever you want, right? Whenever you want. Because if you're not doing qurbani, it doesn't even apply to you anyway, the prohibition. When sleeping, Can men remove the top ihram to sleep? Yes, you can. Ihram is not necessary. It's just that you can't act like a macho man and go around with a naked chest. That's makruh, right? But that doesn't mean that you can't take the cloth off. For women, can they wear pajamas and take it? Yeah, they can do whatever they want, man. They've got all the discretion, mashallah. Not all alcohol is khamr. Can you make dua in your own language during tawaf? Yes, you can. Absolutely, you can. Does Hajjatul Wada needs to be done? Not Hajjat Tawaf al Wada, you mean? Needs to be done just before leaving Makkah, or can it be done? It can be done before. It can be done before. It doesn't have to be the absolute last thing. Is the meat halal at the takeaways, or is it better to avoid? God knows. If a female is still on her menses on the 3rd day of Hajj and can't do her tawaf as ziyarah, then she will have to do it later on. She will be in makruh days after Hajj. So will she manage to do it? Is that okay? I've already explained that if you can't do it, you have no opportunity to do it, then for you it's completely fine. You can't be blamed for that, right? Regarding the face mask, to make sure, is it fine to wear during prayers to block coughs? Take it off? No. You still have to pay sadaqah. It's makruh to do so. Okay. I don't know how I don't know how a mask blocks a cough. Cough is something that comes from inside. Don't understand how putting a mask on is going to block that, to be honest, right? I mean, it may stop you from sneezing on somebody else, right? But no. A practical question. I am with another group from England, English speaking, but a friend is with you. Would you have any objections to me joining you for scholarly Hajj guidance for the actual logistics? Absolutely. I mean, you'll see when we get there, and if it's possible, come along. If it's not possible and it's going to cause a hindrance, then don't, right? But otherwise, there's absolutely no problem, because we're all going to be similar in places if we're in a similar group, right? I don't think it's an issue, right? Especially if you're not from Ithra al-Khair, then as long as you know what you're doing and you're not, violating anything, come along. It's no problem. I don't know if, I mean, that just means to our programs and so on. I mean, we probably aren't going to have space on a bus or something, because they probably have that all sorted out. Is Sheikh Abu Hakim a Salafi? I have no idea who he is, right? Is nicotine gum permissible in Ihram? Yes. To counter mouth smell during Ihram, can I chew gum or elaichi? No, you can't. Meaning you can chew a gum, but that smell is fine, right? You're not going to be bothering anybody at that time. But yes, you can chew gum as long as it's not strong mint gum, because then that actually no. So it depends. If you're chewing strawberry gum, for example, that should be fine. But if you're doing it to get rid of your smell, then that would be wrong, because you're actually going to be using gum that is fragrant, which means either cinnamon or something. That's not allowed, because that's purpose for that one. And likewise, elaichi in that context is seen as a fragrance, so you're not allowed to chew that. No, right? Is tawaf without fard? It's wajib, so you have to do it. The only people that are that can avoid it is women in menstruation who don't have time and they have to leave. Can we wear a nicotine patch? Yeah, Vix has mental nicotine, so there might be an issue with using the physical gel, but there's nothing wrong with smelling it. If you need to, that is. What is the ruling in combining salat? The Hanafis don't allow it at all, right? Except in Mina except in Arafah with the Imam in the mosque, or in Muzdalifah for anybody and everybody. Okay. Can Rashid bhai, it looks like people aren't stopping. How long was this session for? I mean, just let me know how long to carry on for, because
I was about to say, we've got 51 questions, and it's been like that for the last half an hour, so the questions will continue. I think we'll run it for another few more minutes. We'll give priority to anybody who wants to ask a question. So if you want to raise your hand, please do so now. Otherwise, Mufti Sahib, about 5 minutes, I would say, and then we'll wrap this up, inshallah.
Sounds good. They can then listen to the recording. We'll put this recording out anyway.
Absolutely. We've got iPhone. Yeah, iPhone. Assalamu alaikum.
Yes, Mr. iPhone or Miss iPhone.
Assalamu alaikum. I have a question regarding the prayer in Riyadh al-Jannah. So do we have to take appointment, or is it with a group?
A logistics question. It's not a masala, right? That's a logistics question, but yeah, you will have to get an appointment for that. Okay, so can a woman cut their own hair after they have completed Umrah Hajj? Yes, they can. Anyone can cut their own hair after they finish their Umrah or Hajj, right? After they finished all their rites. Reading du'as such as Hizbullah Rabbana du'as on period. Is it permissible to read? Absolutely, even from the hard copy. But if it's a verse of the Quran, don't touch it with your fingers, touch the sides. If it's a verse of Allah, don't touch that. That's all. Otherwise, you can absolutely do it. I'm only going to take those questions now that we haven't answered before, right? Do we have to take appointment for the prayer? We just answered that. Not a doctor, just experience, alhamdulillah. Sorry, please, can you repeat if we can cut hair nails during? Yes, you can. If you have to, especially if you're not doing qurbani, because the non-cutting of hair was to do with qurbani, not with the damush shukr. Okay, brother, I might be performing Hajj Qiran for this. I have to perform Umrah first and being told need to do Tawaf Qudum and Sa'i as well. I want to clarify, you don't have to do you have to do Umrah, which will include a Sa'i. Then after that, you have to do Tawaf al-Qudum, and then you have a choice. You can do your Sa'i of Hajj in advance after your Tawaf al-Qudum if you want to. If you don't want to, you can just do Tawaf al-Qudum and then do the Sa'i after your Tawaf al-Ziyarah. So it's completely fine. And yes, if you've done your Umrah, you still have to do Tawaf al-Qudum because that's the Sunnah for Qarin. I understand we need, because they've done their Umrah, now it's like they're starting their Hajj with a Tawaf. But again, if you don't have time, then if you missed it, nothing would be obligatory on you. You don't need wudu for sa'i, pelting, making dua, etc. But it's better to have wudu all the time, but you don't need it. You only need it for tawaf. If someone had to do qada of hajj, how would that be possible given current system and portal issue? You just book a hajj, just like everybody else booked a hajj. You don't have to tell them it's a qada or ada. You just book a hajj, right? They don't know whether you're doing qada or ada. You just do it, and it's your intention. If the 8th DH is a Friday, do we pray Salat al-Jumu'ah in the Mina camp? Yes, we do. There's both opinions. Actually, no, there's two opinions. Jumu'ah is not obligatory in Mina. Mina is seen as a separate city and is seen as a village. It's seen as a non-permanent. So you don't do, in Hanafi madhab, you do not do Jumu'ah in non-permanent localities. You don't do it like in woods or in a forest or in a desert. And Mina is only an encampment. It's not a properly established town. So that's why there isn't. However, other ulama say you can do it. Okay, so yeah, but I don't think Arafah. Yeah, wallahu alam. Okay, is the 2 rakats of Ihram mandatory? Yeah, they're wajib. They're wajib. They're not fard. They're wajib, right? What if there's not enough time for the 2 rakats after the correct connecting airport? Sorry. No, I'm sorry. I thought you meant the tawaf. If 2 rakats of ihram mandatory, no, they're not mandatory. Those are sunnah. So if you have no time for them, you can still enter. So remember, if you don't have time for your 2 rakats of prayer, you can still enter into ihram with your intention labbaik. You don't have to have, yeah. I think I've answered all the questions.
Alhamdulillah. Great. Jazakallah khair. I think we can go on all night. I think it's fair to say that this is the last session that we'll be doing now until Hajj. So those of you who are with us at Itra Al-Khair, inshallah you'll get to see Mufti Sahib along with our other Shayukh as well. But I just want to say Jazakallah khair to Mufti Sahib for his time this evening. I hope it's been informative to all our listeners, and inshallah we pray that Allah grants you all Hajj Mabrur, remembers in your du'as, and we'll meet in Arafat inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Remember, we are here to answer any religious questions. I mean, I take pride in doing so. I think it's an honor. So please, I've got a number, and I'm actually sharing this. I've got a number on Zamzam Academy contact us page. It's a public number. Feel free to contact me on there by phone. Don't WhatsApp me on there. I don't like WhatsApp. I don't do WhatsApp questions. Okay, just give me a call, and when I'm available, and I can answer you. So please, those of you who have some complicated questions, please feel free. And even during the days of Hajj, I'll be there, inshallah. If you are in my group or in our group, I will be there for you, inshallah, as well. And keep us all in your du'as, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala take us all safely. Assalamu alaikum.